Thank you, Sean and Marissa. That was one of the big exclusives for the PlayStation 4. Let's take a look at the other one. It's Killzone Shadowfall. What'd you think, my friend?
From our old friends at Guerrilla Games. This game picks up 30 years after the end of Killzone 3, the planet of Helgen. Follow along here. I know there's some crazy words we're going to be using. The planet of Helgen has been destroyed. It's been devastated. So the Helghast have been shipped off to another planet. Now there's another race of people there named the Vetkin, and they have built a wall, much like the Berlin Wall, between the two warring factions. And in the middle of all this is you.
Yeah, well, it's Lucas. Well, no, I like that there's a Lucas in this game and there's a Lucas in Knack, which is really nice. I don't know. Thank you, Sony.
Shout-outs there.
Lucas, when I look out there, I see our enemies testing us.
Lucas Kellum, you actually play him as a little kid, and you see something kind of horrific happen, and it kind of propels him a little bit. He becomes a shadow marshal, and what he's got to do is he's got to infiltrate enemy territory and take out bad guys. There's terrorist attacks. You get to see a little bit of life after these huge battles, and this was the first game in the franchise where it felt like they were really trying to reach with the narrative and really trying to make some nice emotional connective tissue there.
We must defend it at all costs.
You're also confronted with all of these conflictions, whether you should be doing all of this dirty work, all of this wet work for the ISA or not. I like the freedom in the game and the artistic reach of this game. It's really impressive.
And I think that's an important turning point for Guerrilla Games, and maybe they are doing a kind of Naughty Dog, we're ready to grow up kind of moment here. And I like the fact that the game very boldly explores that issue, and it does make this feel like a Killzone that is finally trying to outgrow its stupid name of being called a Killzone.
That is my biggest problem with the game and the franchise. I think it has outgrown that name. That brand is diminishing, especially when you have something where it isn't just huge firefights and huge battles. It isn't just let's walk you through the Killzone amusement park and then we'll put you in a mech and here's all the fancy tech that we have. There's actually some muted missions in this stuff.
They slow it down.
They do slow it down. There's a lot more stealthy type action in there. You actually have some great co-op play where you're targeting your enemies and you're trying to stealthily take out everybody. There's an elegance and a maturity to the way that this game has been crafted that I was really not expecting. You know, on the plus side, it's one of the most gorgeous games I've ever seen. You know, it echoes the kind of design that we saw out of something like Deus Ex. It's got a little Blade Runner kind of vibe to it. There's a lot of freedom in your abilities in this game as well, which I really appreciated.
I don't think that this is magic.
No.
I do think it is a step forward for the Killzone team. I know that there will be more Killzones out there. And the other thing is, I know when it comes to launch games, there's weird kinds of pressures on these teams because they're working with new hardware with very limited constraints on them to try to deliver something. And so what they're doing is they're trying to deliver something that shows off the technology, but they also are trying to make a video game here, and it looks like a pretty PC shooter to me.
I think this is going to surprise a lot of dissenters out there.
I don't think it's enough. I think it's a nice try from Guerrilla. It's nice to finally see them trying to grow up, and I encourage more of that in the future. It's a pretty first-person shooter that has some cool aspects to it, but it did not hold my attention the way that I hoped it would, especially since it is one of two AAA launch titles that are coming out for this machine. It's not enough for me. 7.5.
I mean, there is a glut of shooters. There's lots to choose from. There never is a shortage on this stuff, and it's kind of hard to surprise people. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.